皆さんこんにちは、ももです。インタビューシリーズ第2回目です。今日は私の友達ひかりちゃんとその彼氏ファンにインタビューをします。ひかりちゃんのお父さんはアメリカ人でお母さんが日本人です。家族ぐるみでお付き合いをさせてもらっています。ひかりちゃんとは6年前に私がサンフランシスコに住んでいた時に一緒のバレエ学校に通ってプロを目指していました。現在ひかりちゃんはアメリカのバレエ団に就職してバレリーナとして活躍をしています。ちなみに彼氏のファンもダンサーです。ではどうぞ。 Hi guys!
Hi!
Thanks for joining me today. I'm just gonna be asking you some questions and you're just gonna answer them.
Okay.
Alright, so first question, how did you guys meet?
Well, we met in the company. Do you want to tell her your first impression of me?
Yes, that would be nice, that would be good.
When I first step in the room, I look for my spot in the bar, and I look at her, and she would smile at me. And then I look back, there is nobody behind me, and I was like, well, I guess that's for me, and I kind of smiled back, but I thought that was weird because she was like, like Hikari's way, like she had always a smile on the face. Yeah.
He thought I was crazy. Like, we didn't know each other, we didn't talk or anything. So he was like, who's this crazy girl smiling at me?
You moved from Brazil. How was it for you to learn the language? And how do you guys communicate? In what language do you guys communicate?
In the beginning was very hard because I just knew the very basic of English. Like I have learned something before, but not enough to have a communication. But then, like how I noticed that it was something start to come. Like between me and her, I noticed that I have to learn English fast, like quickly.
To flirt with her.
Yeah, actually I really rush, like I start study night and day, That's for most for having communication with her, like for being able to talk and everything.
And I was starting to learn some Portuguese, but and I thought that I knew a lot, but once I got there and talking with other people, I realized like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything. They talk so fast. Like I can't understand, hardly anything. And I realized like it's so hard to learn another language and to try to communicate in one. And I think it's really amazing that he was able to do all of that and all by himself too.
Actually, when you take like classes at school, you are like, oh, I kind of know the language, or you think that you're good at it, but actually when you go to that country, you're like, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, this question is more for Hikari, but how was it for you growing up as a mixed in the United States?
I grew up in a predominantly Asian area, actually. So I'm from Daly City, California, which has, I think, like the majority of the population is Asian. So I never felt different there. I always felt like that was home. I never thought anything else. But when I was in high school, I was noticing it more that people like to be in groups with the same race as each other. And I think that's kind of normal in all of life. But I felt like the Asian people were looking at me like a white person. And like they thought that I couldn't understand things about them or what they liked and stuff like that because I was white compared to them. But I remember one time I felt like really different. I went to a ballet summer camp in New York and almost everybody was white and I was one of the very few Asians. It was the first time I felt completely different and it was like really uncomfortable. And I felt like people were, when they saw me, they would always think of me as, oh, that's the Asian girl. Not that it matters, but it was the first time that I felt very uncomfortable.
They label you as an Asian person and not really seeing you as American, kind of.
Right. And maybe they weren't thinking that, but that's what I thought they were thinking. And I felt, I know I felt very uncomfortable in that situation.
Do you have like a side that you think you're more, or?
Well, I feel definitely more American because when I'm in Japan, I realize there's so many things that about the culture that I don't know and that are not part of me. But I definitely don't feel like a typical American because there's so a lot of Japanese influence, like in how I grew up. So much, like from the food to the decorations in the house, the way that we do things in the house, everything. So I don't really feel like I'm completely one or the other, but I'm definitely much more American, I would say.
Yeah, I can totally like relate to that comment. So first is, what do you like about Japanese people, or like what kind of image do you have?
They are very, how to say, quickly in they things, you know, like they to solve the problems, they just go there and do it, you know, like you don't have excuses or something like that.
Do you want to know just the positive things he thinks about Japanese people?
Oh,
or
no, just your like general impression. It can be negative, it can be anything.
The negative, I think, is the pressure on people.
Yes.
Like, I feel like, especially in the young generation, like they put so much pressure on them to be so good in everything, to be so perfect, and like be good in the school, to be good at home things, and to be so perfect, you know, that I feel like it causes too much problems, you know, like how we know, like the Japanese people, they have like a higher number of suicides.
Yes,
you know,
it's a huge problem in Japan.
Yeah, so I feel like that's one bad thing that I see about Japan. But on the other hand, like we have evolved. Yeah,
like their medicine. And
everything is so like the robots, the cars, it's so
the technology
so shitty.
So I agree with him on like a lot of it. My impression is that they're very like efficient at things. Like he said, they can solve problems. I like that they're very clean. And I've been to Japan many times, so I kind of have an idea. I really like the little cultural things. I like the architecture of the houses, and I like how, you know, most people sleep on futons. Maybe not anymore, but and then you can just fold up the futon and put it somewhere, and then your room is so much bigger. You know, like that's kind of changing. I actually don't want those things to change because my memories of Japan is like those cultural things, you know, and if that changes, I feel like it's not the same.
It's not Japan.
Yeah, it's not Japan anymore.
It's not Japan. What was your first impression when you came to America, Juan? Like, was there a specific thing that you noticed from Americans, or?
One thing that I noticed in the country, like right away, is how the big things the things are big here. You know, like how like the buildings, there's giant buildings, you know, like the houses are big, everything is so big, and that's impressed me. But
everything is oversized. Like even you go to like restaurant and they bring you like a huge plate, like with the huge burger with like
everything this sauce. You know,
crazy. Who's gonna eat that? Who's gonna even drink that?
Like for example, like I never thought that like a coffee like this was like an American coffee. I thought this is just coffee. But when I went to Japan and they gave this little coffee, I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna like stay awake with this? You know, I need like 3 of those.
They are very nice people actually. Like they have like a very great smile. That was one first impression that I might maybe have of the Americans that I know, you know, and they've been like very friendly about especially this smile, this sympathy thing, you know, like they talk and they're always fun, they're always happy.
Well, I don't know. At the beginning, I feel like they're a bit close, like they're a bit, you know, to themselves at the beginning. But once you get to know them, that's when they open up and they're very nice. But
I actually disagree with what he said about like Americans smiling and being friendly. Like
interesting. This is getting interesting. Okay.
Yeah, maybe because you're so handsome, like people are nice to you.
Am I that handsome?
Maybe like he says that because a lot of girls are like smiling at him.
I think like in more populated places, like the cities, like San Francisco and New York and stuff, I think people are even more closed off than other areas in the country.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I don't think that people really smile that much, and I feel like people in cities can be a lot more not selfish, but like kind of think about them. But when it comes to like open-mindedness, people in cities are great about that. Like that's what I really appreciate about being from a city rather than from any small town. And this is not all Americans. Like this is definitely more the younger generations and people more in the cities, I think. What I really like about Americans is that I think they're much more open-minded to new things and like different races and like sexual orientation and all kinds of stuff like that. I really appreciate that people are more open now.
That's true.
I mean, I've never lived in Japan. I've only visited. So I don't know completely what Japan is like. But my idea is that Japan is not as open-minded as America might be. I think that
I actually agree with you.
So that's definitely like, I love a lot of things about Japan. You know, I like it a lot. I like the culture, the food, so many things. But I think that without like being in a place that can understand and be open to new things, I wouldn't completely feel comfortable.
I agree.
I feel like it depends state to state, you know, like, but like we travel across the country, and there is some states that I was kind of afraid to stay there. Actually, you know, like I can see that I wasn't welcome there. You know, like people look at me and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy gonna come to me, you know, you know. So
oh wow,
and this is one interesting thing about being mixed, is that like I feel like maybe I don't stand out as much as like somebody who is full in areas that are predominantly white. So maybe like I'm lucky that I've never experienced racism, which is like kind of rare because mostly every minority person in the United States will experience that because like I said, it's very open-minded, but there are so many people who are not. So like I think every minority person will feel that at some point. But because I'm mixed, I kind of can blend in. So I haven't experienced that.
Eventually, I went to the 7-Eleven store, and I was about to buy a cookie. But then I thought, man, I'm eating a lot of shit, you know, like a lot of fats. Let me just stay home if I have to do any exercise. So I give up to buy the cookie, put it back, and then get out of the store. And when I was getting home, one police arrived. And he just get out, get off the car and say, what did you steal? And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even understand what was going on. Yeah, and he was like, why did you steal? And I was like, and she understand, and she was like, seriously, is this happening, you know?
Yeah.
And it was my luck that she was with me, you know, because otherwise I wouldn't know how to react to him, you know? Like, I was kind of not understanding really what was going on, and she started talking for me. And she made me like, he made me to put my hands on the wall and he checked me if I steal. And end up that the guy in 7-Eleven, he checked his camera and he knows that I didn't steal anything, you know, like I was just give up to buy my product. But even this way, like 2 cars just arrived after me. And
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is the problem in the States, like, it's just too much. Every time there's news like that in the States.
One thing that I don't like in the United States. Racism people here that is too bad, you know, like.
Right. United States has a lot of white people and black people, but there's also people from everywhere. Like there's actually not that many Asians. I was surprised that like there was only a small percentage of Asians in the United States because where I grew up, there's just like I think it's like is it 2%?
That's funny because like when I was in San Francisco, I thought, is this China? Like, am I
I thought the same.
Yeah.
Or the stores are in
In
Chinese.
the store,
Like,
yes.
and I was like, shall I start to learn in Chinese too?
Yeah, so I was surprised to know that the percentage was very small because, like, you know, there's Asians everywhere where I'm from, but not just Asians. There's lots of Latinos, mostly Mexicans, but also from all of like Central America and South America. There's more like Middle East people coming from the Middle East now, although there's probably a lot less than like white people and black people. America is all foreigners basically, so the good thing about that is, like, you know, there's like more conversation about how we can accept more things, but there's so many people still who are against those things.
Okay, so I have this question, which is, in Japan, a lot of people like to use the word kawaii. Kawaii. I don't know if you have heard it. It's like, I guess in English would be cute. But how about in America? Like, what do you use cute for everything? Because in Japan, everything is like kawaii, kawaii.
I noticed it. Like,
Right?
first I thought that the kawaii was just for ladies. But then I noticed her mother called the baby kawaii.
Well, babies are kawaii, they're cute.
Yeah, and then I noticed that she said kawaii for basically everything. Then I was like, wait, kawaii is not for ladies, it's like for young ladies, it's for kids, it's for like, I feel like she can say that this mug is kawaii, right?
Kawaii, yeah.
Can you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can say
so
that.
yeah. I feel like kawaii works for everything.
Japan, everything is kawaii, but how about in the States? Like, I don't feel like you guys use a lot of cute, you know?
No, we use cute for like things that are small, like babies and cats and dogs, and like if you have like a little mug, it's like, oh, this is cute, you know. I think like small things are cute.
They're gonna probably talk about the personality of the person, you know, like you're a person
That's true.
but I haven't seen like men's people say this about the men's, like, he's cute.
Like,
That's
yeah,
true.
I've seen that.
Yeah, we do
That's
use
true.
cute in like a way like that's attractive, but not
Attractive,
we don't
yeah.
mean it in
He's
the
good
same
looking.
way.
Yeah.
We don't mean it in the same way that we mean like little things are cute, like,
Right.
yeah.
But like, for example, in Japan, like in my perspective, I feel like a lot of girls want to appear cute. Like most of the Japanese girls, they have bangs to like look younger because that's what they think is attractive, to look cute. But how about in America?
That's a good question. That's interesting because I think like older people, they do want to look younger. I don't think anybody likes to be like look old, you know. Not that it's a problem, you know. But like I feel like younger people, they try to look older.
Yeah.
And I think that's because of social media, actually, because of like people who influence us, like Kim Kardashian, or like people, you know, like they're adults, but they're like people who are like influencing young people. So I feel like these young people want to look older, look more like a woman, and I think that's what they think is attractive. I think like it's all about the things that influence population.
Influence you, yeah, definitely.
I can tell that Japanese people, they have this, can I say obsession for looking younger, you know. Yeah, like they, especially the women, they have this, like, talk about your mother, like her mother, she doesn't look the age that she actually is, you know, like she looks like too much more younger, you know, like if you think some Brazilian lady at the same age, the Brazilian one looks like way older now. And yes, like I can tell that I have seen like some ladies from Japan. They always look like younger, skinnier. And they use like cute things actually, you know, like. If I want to compliment how the person looks, probably gonna say gorgeous, beautiful, you know, around this. In other words, cute. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say about the personality. I can say that Hikari is a gorgeous and she's cute.
So now, the next question is, what do you think about Japanese girls' fashion?
Oh, my idea is like they wear a lot of skirts, like high cut skirts.
Yeah.
I think like that. I think they don't really wear like tight clothes. It's more like loose and flowy.
You're right.
But I don't know that much because that would kind of just be for the summertime, right? Because in the winter it's snowing and so cold, so you couldn't wear something like that. So I don't quite know, but like from my idea, it seems very practical, very comfortable.
So Juan, if you ever go to Japan, where would you want to visit or what would you like to do?
Visit Tokyo for sure.
Yeah.
Like
What would you like to do in Tokyo?
I don't really know actually. I want to eat like the Japanese food in Japan, you know, like not the American
The
Japanese
real
food.
sushi.
Yeah, like the real thing, you know, the real yakisoba stuff. I like a lot yakisoba. Like I guess it's really one of my favorite food.
Brazilians really like yakisoba for some reason. My favorite is tamago donburi. My mom used to make it for me when I was young. She would make it a lot. And
What was that? Tamago what?
tamago donburi.
Maybe I don't like the tamago desserts.
Oh yeah.
I have some struggles with desserts because for me, as a Brazilian person, it's not unacceptable have a bean as a dessert. It's kind of like
That's weird for you.
Yeah, like that's very. I can try, but I feel like a little bit scared of that. I don't know how to explain. It's the same thing I give to you, like an ice cream made by fish. You know, like oh, this is a fish ice cream. You're gonna be like, you know, like I can try. You know, for me it's the same.
Yeah, that's true because in Latin America we eat a lot of rice and beans. So for you, beans it's like food. It's not really dessert. So
I like all their desserts. I really like Asian desserts in general, but like Japanese desserts, especially Japan's desserts, is very different and it feels a lot lighter too.
I agree.
That's true. That's true.
It doesn't feel as heavy and it's just really delicious. And it's different. It's
one thing that I like about the Japanese desserts is the green tea.
Oh yeah, the matcha.
The green tea and
the matcha.
Yeah.
And last question. Okay, this has nothing to do with Japan, but the last one I wrote is, what is the most important thing in a relationship?
What's his reaction?
I don't know.
Come on.
I can go first.
Go first.
I think the most important thing is being understanding and being patient if you don't understand. Like, a lot of conflicts happen because of misunderstanding. So so I think if one of us doesn't like the way that one of us has reacted or is doing something, like trying to understand the other person's side, and because it is like a team thing, right? So if you're on your own, you can do things however you want. It doesn't matter. But like if you're with somebody and you have to understand the other person's side and be willing to like work on things together.
Good point. You said.
Thank you.
And you, Juan?
I'm still thinking. I feel like the main point is love.
Yeah.
If you don't love, it's not gonna work. If you
Yes, thank you so much again.
No, thank you.
Really nice. All right. Well, hope you guys are doing well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.